Hi! We're going to do a science experiment today using some items you can find easily in your kitchen or at your supermarket. We're going to be using food as our material. Today's experiment is about how food and water travel up a plant into the tips of the plant. So just like you have veins in your body that take the blood to your heart and arteries that take the clean blood all around the body, plants have a similar system where they can suck up the water through their veins and out to the tips. But the word is not veins when we're talking about plants. It's xylem, and we're going to learn about that today. So what you need is to write up your experiment with the aim, which is to find out how water and food travel through a plant. You need to write up the materials that we need, which is glasses, a cabbage, and food colouring. And you need to write down the steps that we do. And you can watch me doing the steps in the video that's coming up. And after that, it would be great if you were able to do the experiment yourself. We'll see what we can learn about how food and nutrients travel through a plant through their system of xylem. I hope you have a great time with this experiment.
Now we have our 4 containers. We're going to drop some water, into each one. You don't need a whole lot of water. Now I got 4 different bottles of food colouring from my supermarket. Green, blue, red and yellow. You don't have to do 4 different ones, you can just try one colour if you'd like. Now we're going to put a little bit in each one. You don't need too much, but the more you put in, the brighter the colour will be. So they say about 10 drops, but I'm not using an actual dropper, I'm just guessing what 10 drops might look like. But remember, the more you put in, the darker your result will be, but also the more of your food colouring you will use. Now this is the beautiful cabbage that I am using. You can use any kind of cabbage, or you could try it with celery or flowers. But plants like this have something called xylem, which takes from the roots up to the tips of the plant. That is where the water and the nutrients travel. So you can see there's a main, kind of like veins and arteries in our body. And then we have little bits coming off and then other little bits coming off. They kind of look like the capillaries that we have under our skin. So what will happen is, as the plant absorbs the water from the glasses, we are going to see the path that the water takes up the leaf. So we're going to take one whole piece off the main stalk or off the main stem of the cabbage, and we're going to put one in each of the glasses. Then you're going to be able to watch the water travel up the xylem because they'll be coloured. It's very exciting. This is one of the leaves ready to go, and the good thing about this experiment is you don't actually need a knife. The leaves do pull off the cabbage. It's a bit hard with one hand, but did you hear that little click? That's where it separated, and now my cabbage is rolling into my experiment. Be careful, cabbage. Okay, so I'm going to put my cabbage leaf into the first colour. Now remember, we just want to put the whole leaf down into the water, because if we don't have it down into the water, we won't actually see it. So we can see there that the starting place of the xylem is under the water. So the other leaf, or the rest of the leaf, can just sit up there, and that's where we're going to watch it. I'll do all 4 and then I'll come back. Now they're ready to go. The outer leaves on this cabbage that I've chosen are actually stronger and bigger than the ones on the inside. Another good cabbage to use is Wombok cabbage or Chinese cabbage. Now, if you find that you haven't been able to push your leaf down into the water enough, you can actually have a look here, and there is almost a little tube for you to pour some more water into. Now we're going to watch and wait. You can take some photos as you go along and see how long it takes for the water to travel up the xylem. Now you can cook something amazing with that leftover cabbage. I can see some of the colour is starting to come through. This is the green part over here, especially the blue part up here, the red in here. I can't see the yellow much, but that might just be because it's too light to be seen on the green leaf. How is yours going?
Wasn't that amazing? I bet you've got a really beautiful results if you were able to do it at home as well. I was actually amazed how fast the dye actually went up through the plants, and so that all the leaf, the flesh of the leaf, is the colour of whatever dye you put in. So it actually happens pretty fast. So in your results, write down what you found out and anything you noticed while it was going. I hope you had a really great time, and I hope you're looking forward to the next experiment.